Now on Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, stranded Americans finally head home after days of dangerous conditions in western Mexico. And testimony continues in the trial of a father accused of enabling a deadly school shooting. Plus, more than 1 million Texans have already cast their ballots. When and where you can vote early.
And today is going to be a true Wednesday because we're expecting a gusty wind out of the south. And if you combine that with our sunshine, we're not only looking for warm weather, y'all, we're looking for near record heat. All of that in weather coming up.
And Goliad Industrial Boys basketball teams begin first round action at Calhoun and Cuero High School. We'll recap both of these games later on.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads, and welcome to your Wednesday.
Today is Weather Wednesday, and I'm going to say it is all the W's
Except
today.
it's not going to be wet today.
Not going to be wet,
No.
Unfortunately, but we're looking at all the W's. We're looking warm, windy, and also kind of wacky. We're going to find out why here in a second. Victoria, look at that beautiful sunrise coming over us this morning. Y'all, you want to know what else is beautiful? Also kind of wacky? Look at that. It is 63 degrees right now out in Victoria County. You'll see how much warmer that is. Yesterday we started at 36 degrees, so we're looking at the inverse for temperature right now, 63, and humidity is much higher at 87%. I'm sure you've noticed that. We're all actually looking at about the same thing this morning, starting out in the low 60s. Look at that, the coast was even in the mid 60s. You want to know why we're wacky? That W? Here's why. We are 20 to 30 degrees warmer than yesterday morning. Like I said, we started out in the 30s yesterday. All that warmness is thanks to our wind, the other W, coming out of the south. Looking at gusts this morning up to 25, and you can actually see we already have wind advisories. But that wind will pick up today quite a bit. We'll talk about that in a little bit because those kiddos, if they wear a hat, they're going to need to hold on to it today with it being windy and warm all day. Those details next.
Here's a look at how many people voted early Tuesday. 607 people voted in person and 131 mail-in ballots were received. So far for the March 3rd primaries, 3,759 people have cast their ballots in Victoria. That's just 6.5% of Victoria County voters. Statewide, more than 1 million voters cast their ballot in the first week of early voting. Early voting runs through Friday. Election Day is Tuesday, with polls open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Secretary of State Jane Nelson encourages everyone to double-check official information before heading to the polls. You can confirm your registration, find your polling place, and review ID requirements at votetexas.gov or by contacting your county elections office. The Texas Workforce Commission is launching a child care business initiative to help child care programs. The Texas Workforce Commission is dedicated to supporting families and children in child care. The commission specializes in 2 types of support: business coaching and business training. Those initiatives will help with financial and risk management. The Business Support Initiative will be available to all licensed and registered child care programs across the state. Americans stranded in western Mexico finally heading home. Tuesday night, after days of cartel violence, prompted shelter-in-place advisories. The U.S. State Department lifted its advisory Tuesday as conditions began to stabilize. Travelers crowded Puerto Vallarta International Airport, scrambling for outbound flights as service resumed. The first arrivals landed at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, where passengers say they were relieved to be back in the U.S. Emotional testimony in a Georgia trial. ABC's Hannah Batal has more on a father whose son is accused of a deadly school shooting.
This morning, more testimony in the trial of Colin Gray, the father of the alleged school shooter accused of killing 4 people at Appalachia High School in Georgia in 2024. Prosecutors say Colin should be accountable for giving his son Colt the AR-15 style rifle that he allegedly used in the 2024 massacre that left staff members and 2 students dead, despite alleged warning signs that his son, just 14 at the time, was mentally unstable.
He wanted to get Colt help.
The suspect's younger sister testified on Tuesday her brother rarely went to school, had violent outbursts, and kept photos of the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School gunman on his bedroom wall. She said there were at least 3 unlocked guns in their house, and her dad told her to downplay the guns to investigators.
Did you feel pressure to cover for your dad, Colin?
Yes, ma'am.
But the defense accused the teen of lying to stay with her foster family and to avoid the stigma of being the sister who knew but did nothing.
I want to apologize to somebody who don't know.
Gray cried as jurors heard a recording of him telling police about his son's escalating anxiety and physical attacks.
I can see his face change. I know he's fixing to bull rush me.
And he admitted his guns were stored unlocked in his son's closet. Gray then read investigators a text message his son sent him just minutes before the deadly rampage.
Out of the blue, he says, "I'm sorry. It's not your fault."
Gray has pled not guilty to the 29 charges he faces, including second-degree murder.
Hannah Battah, ABC News, New York.
Calhoun County is one of 14 coastal counties getting state money from the General Land Office for improvement projects. Calhoun County is receiving state funding for 5 projects. They center on Bayfront Peninsula improvements, including the installation of new concrete walkways, new restroom facilities, and the removal of an existing deteriorated timber walkway along the shoreline. Aransas and Refugio counties are also receiving part of the funding. For more local news, weather, and sports, come to crossroadstoday.com. And it is just about 6:37 on our Wednesday morning. Just getting a look at our clock. Here's a look at what's coming up next. A local group is uncovering secrets buried beneath the soil.
President Trump touts an economic turnaround that many voters don't see. I'm Nicole D'Antonio in Washington with reaction to last night's State of the Union address.
And also coming up next after the break in the short-term forecast, you heard me say it's going to be windy. We already have wind advisories and small craft advisories in effect. So coming up next, we'll talk about how windy it's going to be near you.
For a growing number of people in our community, nighttime doesn't mean sleep. It means survival. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting takes a closer look at homelessness here at home, the challenges people face every day, and what's being done to help.
Being able to go take a shower and rest and good to go to work the next day and be comfortable without having to go to work dirty, that'd be awesome.
Life Without a Home, Thursday at 10 p.m.
Well, good morning, Crossroads, and happy Weather Wednesday. We're halfway through the week, and like I was saying earlier, it's going to be a real, true Wednesday. Because of our winds, they're out of the south today, but not only are they out of the south, they're going to be gusty. In the morning time, a little breezy. Gusts will be up to 25. This is 7 a.m., but as we approach the late morning and for the rest of the afternoon today, those winds will pick up, gusting 30 to 35 miles an hour at times. There might even be a 40-mile-an-hour gust trying to sneak in there today. Also, if you have any lightweight items outside, like an umbrella, a hanging basket plant, or maybe an unsecured trampoline, make sure to secure that so it doesn't end up in your neighbor's yard. Now, going into overnight tonight and into tomorrow, Thursday morning, it'll still be breezy with winds out of the south gusting up to 25 at times. That's for overnight tonight and tomorrow morning. And for tomorrow, Thursday, winds will pretty much calm back down to gusts up to 20 at times, but they're still out of the south, and that's going to warm us up, which you'll see here in a little bit. Now, for today with our breezy wind, we're only looking at moderate fire danger, but that doesn't mean that you can go ahead and go burn anything. Please stay safe. Let's just try and stay away from that because of our extreme drought. What we're also looking at, in addition to the south wind breezy at times, is some mostly sunny skies. Morning time, it'll be pretty sunny, but afternoon time, we'll pick up a little bit of cloud cover, still be mostly sunny, and that'll warm us up quickly. 9 a.m. looking at upper 60s, noontime upper 70s. Afternoon, we're looking at mid upper 80s and low 90s, and tomorrow, some of us will be in the mid 90s. Yeah, we'll talk about that next.
Last night we had a wild game that happened between the Yoakum Bulldogs facing the Goliad Tigers in the 3 Division I ranks, and they were playing at Calhoun High School. And both of these teams, they went back and forth starting with it. Again, Yoakum got started early with a big-time triple. Then after this, how about Grant Winham? He's been the star player for this team. It's a nice pass out there to Coben Rosenquist to get the easy triple. And again, Goliad would extend out their lead going into halftime in this game. Then keeping it going there later on in that same quarter. How about this play right here? Rosenquist fakes out a player, gets in there for the bucket. bucket. And again, there for Goliad, they kept getting buckets from Rosenquist. Wayne made some big time plays as well. And Goliad gets a buzzer beater victory, winning 54-51. They officially will be advancing on to face the Randolph Rohawks in the next round. Now over to other game in the 3A ranks to watch out, the Industrial Cobras, as they face out there the Nixon Smiley Mustangs. And again, this one for Industrial, they finished off third place in their district. Hey, they showed out. How about Bryce Sykes? Nice passer there to Keziah Lopez. He's been the leading scorer for the Cobras this entire season. And Nixon Smiley didn't go away lightly. How about this easy bucket there from Hugo Welbenek to get it in there, starting off for the Mustangs. But Industrial right after that, though, they kept there with the response. Nice pass from Lopez out there to John Franz to get the easy bucket. But then after that, the fourth quarter, 17-8 run there for Industrial to win that fourth quarter, and they won 56-44. They're facing San Antonio Cole in the next round. This is Max Williams, 25 News Now Sports.
Now to President Trump's State of the Union address. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with the details, as a majority of Americans say they disapprove of the job the president is doing.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
In the longest State of the Union speech in American history, President Trump making his case directly to voters and touting the economy ahead of November's midterm elections.
The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot.
But the latest ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll shows 57% of voters disapprove of how Trump is handling the economy. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Americans are paying more for energy, up 6.3% from last year. And the Nonpartisan Tax Foundation says that the president's tariffs cost the average American household $1,000 in 2025. The president also criticizing the Supreme Court's ruling striking down his sweeping global tariffs as the justices looked on. With anxieties rising over the U.S. military buildup in the region, Trump said he wants to solve the problem with Iran using diplomacy.
They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon.
Congressional Democrats and some Republicans are growing increasingly concerned that the president may order unauthorized military strikes against Iran. The president also battling with Democrats during the speech over his immigration politics. Dozens of Democrats skipped the speech in protest, some attending a People's State of the Union protest at the National Mall. Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger delivered the Democrats' response, blaming the president's tariffs for rising cost.
The president is planning for new tariffs, another massive tax hike on you and your family. And Republicans in Congress, they remain unwilling to assert their constitutional authority to stop him. They're making your life harder. They're making your life more expensive.
And Spanberger also discussed the president's immigration enforcement, saying it's led to chaos in American communities, including in Minnesota, where 2 Americans were killed by federal law enforcement. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
During his State of the Union speech, President Trump mentioned Lisbeth Medina, the 16-year-old girl who was murdered in Edna on December 5th, 2023. Lisbeth's mother, Jacqueline, was there for the speech. 25-year-old Rafael Romero entered a plea deal in the capital murder case against him in the death of Lisbeth. Romero pled guilty to murder and aggravated robbery, both carrying life sentences to run at the same time. He was also sentenced to 20 years for burglary, to be served after he completes his first 2 sentences. The president mentioned Romero was in the country illegally. A local group is digging up the past to discover the rich history of people in Victoria County. Kolba Archaeology, a nonprofit organization based in Victoria, is in the process of excavating several sites within Victoria County, namely the McNeil Ranch near the Guadalupe River. O.C. Garza with Kolba Archaeology Group says that the ranch property is rich in artifacts that help identify the history of the area.
That particular site, which is 41 VT 141 in archaeology terms, has been a site of continuous prehistoric Indian occupation from about 13,000 years ago all the way up to modern historic times when the colonial era was in Victoria.
Much of Kolba Archaeology's findings are on display at the Museum of the Coastal Bend. Want to have a hand in discovering history? Garza says that they're accepting volunteers to either help on the sites or also to help process those materials. Come to crossroadstoday.com to learn more. And if you see news happening, let us know. Call the number on your screen, or you can also email us your tips at staff@crossroadstoday.com. And it's just about 6:47 on our Wednesday morning. Still to come on Sunrise, a new study reveals when exercise provides the greatest benefit for keeping your brain young. Okay, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday, Jackson. Happy 11th birthday, my baby. We all love you so much. God bless you.
Aw, and also happy birthday to Roxanne. Roxanne is our birthday cake winner today. Congrats. Also, happy birthday from John and Noah. We love you, and thanks for being a great wife and mother.
Happy birthday, Michael Troy. Happy birthday. God bless you from Mom and your brother and the whole family. We all love you.
And also happy birthday to Jennifer. Happy 29th birthday, Jennifer. Love from Chris, Christopher, Lydia, and your family.
Happy birthday to Lorenzo. Happy 4th birthday to my nephew Lorenzo from Uncle Hector and Aunt Norma.
Oh, look at that sweet picture. And also happy birthday to Malachi Lee. Apologize if I'm saying that wrong. Happy birthday from Dad and Popo and Momo. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, you can come to crossroadstoday.com. Just click the drop-down menu, then click the Home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo.
All right, it is 6:48 on our Wednesday morning. Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today.
That's right. Happy birthday, y'all. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. And once again, I hope you're ready for some real warm weather, because if you think today's warm, you just wait a second. Really wait 24 hours, because today we're looking for 83 in Victoria. That's going to be 12 degrees above where we're supposed to be. Same thing with the low, that'll be 12 degrees above. 62, I'm thinking, for overnight tonight and into tomorrow, Thursday morning. But that's preceding this. This is what's in the forecast for tomorrow, Thursday. Yeah. 101 degrees down there in Freer, 100 in Tilden, and actually the further south you go, getting closer to Laredo, they're looking for 103 degrees tomorrow, Thursday. Now, us in the Crossroads, we're looking still arguably warm, upper 80s. Arguably hot, mid 90s over here, 95 in Beeville, 87 Goliad, 93 in Yorktown. So y'all get ready. Make sure you're drinking your water for tomorrow, because it is going to be no mistakably warm, borderline kind of hot. With those that reach the mid 90s, seeing heat indices in the upper 90s and low 100s. That's what it's going to feel like tomorrow, thanks to winds still out of the south. Now, going into next week, you probably noticed we've got rid of the front that was supposed to be here Friday morning. Highs will stick in the low and mid 80s into next week, and lows in the 60s, with fog returning to the picture once again this weekend. But there is some rain on the horizon. Far horizon. Next week, we're going to be watching that mid-level low way out in the Pacific. That's going to take a nosedive south late next week. And we'll talk about all that and more later on Sunrise.
You already know that exercise is good for your brain. Christiane Cordero tells us about a new study revealing the most crucial time in life to stay active, and it may surprise you.
Even if you weren't exactly a fitness buff in high school, a new study suggests that hitting the gym or getting your steps in later in life may be a good way to keep the brain young. Research from the Framingham Heart Study in Boston found that adults who were active between the ages of 45 and 64 saw the greatest benefit when it came to lowering their risk of dementia. And for those older than 64, any type of movement was beneficial for brain health and overall longevity. This was true even if they didn't do much exercise during their younger days. According to the CDC, all adults can benefit from doing at least 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity physical activity like walking, cycling, or swimming. The CDC also recommends 2 sessions a week of strength training, as well as activities like Tai Chi or yoga that help improve balance. With this Medical Minute, I'm Christiane Cordero.
GLP-1 weight loss drugs are about to get less expensive. Novo Nordisk says it's cutting the list prices of Wegovy and Ozempic to $675 for a 1-month supply. The cuts will also apply to the Wegovy and Rybelsus oral pills. All 3 medications currently cost more than $1,000 a month with Wegovy injections, the priciest at $1,350. The new prices will take effect January 1st of next year. Dr. Casey Means is set to become the next U.S. Surgeon General. Means was scheduled to appear before a Senate committee last year, but went into labor with her first child. A new confirmation hearing is now set for Wednesday on Capitol Hill. The physician-turned-wellness influencer has faced ongoing criticism surrounding her credentials and policy positions. The 38-year-old didn't complete her residency and her medical license has lapsed. Still to come on Sunrise News to Know Before You Go. We take a look at what events happened this day in history. On this day in 2024, a grim milestone in the war in Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky announced that at least 31,000 Ukrainian soldiers had been killed during the conflict. Zelensky also said tens of thousands of civilians had been killed in Russian attacks. The announcement came as the war entered its third year. In 1987, the NCAA imposed the so-called death penalty on Southern Methodist University's football team. In a news conference, the Collegiate Athletics Association announced SMU had paid multiple players over previous seasons. As a result of the violations, the team's 1987 season was canceled, and the team opted to cancel the 1988 season as a result of other penalties. SMU would not have a winning season until 1997. And in 1964, a major upset in the world of boxing. A young boxer named Cassius Clay, later known as Muhammad Ali, won his first heavyweight title. Clay defeated reigning champion Sonny Liston. Ali would go on to win the heavyweight title 3 separate times over his career. And we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. And let's get a final look at our forecast with Parker, who says it's a windy Wednesday.
Windy Wednesday. We're already starting at the day kind of breezy out there, and we're already starting at the day nice and sunny. You can see we have a little bit of that upper level cirrus cloud cover that I was talking about earlier, which I was thinking was going to be here in the afternoon, but it might just be with us all day. But don't you worry, it's still going to be pretty sunny underneath those clouds, because this cloud cover, that kind of cloud cover, is really thin and skinny. Now 63 is what we're starting at in Victoria. That's the inverse to what we were at yesterday. We were 36 yesterday morning. And much more humid as well, 87%, but not enough to worry about fog, so don't worry about that. What I want y'all to worry about is staying hydrated and holding on to your hats for today, because we're looking for a warm and windy one. Starting out the day for all of us in the low and mid 60s this morning, but today in Port Lavaca, you'll get up to 78 this afternoon, mid 70s, by noon. Like I said, mainly sunny the entire day and definitely breezy on the coast. Breezy inland as well, gust up to 35 at times, 83 for the high in Victoria, and also warmer in Cuero, 88 today. And if that's not warm enough, you saw it earlier, we're going to be pushing low mid 90s tomorrow. It's February 26th for that, and then all the way into next week, we're still holding on to the 80s. Kind of warm out there. Welcome to February in South Texas.
Not quite ready for summer.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank y'all for being with us this morning. Join Shauna, Don, Maclovia, and Max today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10.